during the next break. Go ahead.
You heard it there first.
We'll talk basketball later. First, a little football. Colin Kaepernick is back in the headlines. Yesterday, a video emerged of him working out in Houston. We know the story here. Kaepernick still without a team after kneeling for the national anthem 2 seasons ago. Coach, are you surprised that Cap still hasn't gotten an offer anywhere?
No, I'm not surprised at all. And I really like Colin, and I felt that Colin probably should have gone to Cleveland last season. I thought that would have been a really good fit with Hugh Jackson's offense, and it would have made sense for everybody. The issue is all the things that come with Colin, and I know Nick doesn't like to hear that, but those distractions are real, and the things you have to address as a head coach, as a GM, as an owner, as other players, your talent level and what you can contribute to the team is going to have to offset that, and probably offset it dramatically. And right now, Colin would come in as a backup. I really think Johnny Manziel has a better shot of showing up on a roster before Colin does.
It's not that I don't like to hear it. It's that I think people in our job have something of a responsibility, and I'm gonna own something. So earlier I was poking fun at John Gruden. I said, I bet Doug Martin had a great game on Monday Night Football. That's why he signed him. Doug Martin never even played on Monday Night Football. Like, that was you said it would have been insulting. It's a dumb thing for me to say off the cuff on TV, right? Because we have a responsibility, because we're supposed to be more informed than the viewer on things in order to educate and also entertain the viewer. And so many people in this job this time last year swore up and down this was about football. This is about Colin Kaepernick not being good enough, absent of everything. So many people said this was because his completion percentage is too low or he didn't evolve as a passer. And then some funny things happened, like Josh McCown getting $10 million, like Mike Glennon getting 2 separate contracts, like A.J. McCarron getting a 2-year, $10 million deal, like Chase Daniel, who I actually like. I think he's an interesting player, but he hasn't thrown a pass since 2015, and since then he's made $24 million. Like, the idea when we saw the plague of bad quarterbacking all last year, and teams are ready to run it back again, and that we just, and Cap, CC, you saw him on the street 8 months ago, whenever it was, 6 months ago. He was in football shape then. He's in football shape now. And you said production has to outweigh the distraction. If he were a fullback, then you know what? Maybe the distraction is too much. But in a league that decides Kirk Cousins is worth $84 million guaranteed, a guy that has shown he can win games at the NFL level and has kept himself in shape, that him not being worth the distraction, to me, it is more about the politics of the distraction than the actual distraction itself. And I just want people on television and the media to be honest about that.
Last year, Nick, I told you that I thought Colin Kaepernick had cost himself his career. And, man, I was hoping I was going to be wrong. Like, I know NFL owners enough that I thought when he took the stance that he did in the protest, and I think it should be mentioned, too, in a peaceful protest. I mean, our rights as citizens in the United States, like a peaceful protest, should not cost a person in a profession that we put out there to the public. This is 1,600 best players. The quarterbacks that you're paying to watch, man, they are the best in the world. There's only 32 of them. Well, it's not that case anymore. Like, when you talk about the players you did and the type of money, none of those guys, I don't care who they are, their agent nor their family, can represent that they are a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick. They don't have better stats. There is nothing you can say that they do better than Colin Kaepernick. His stance against the national anthem protest, it cost him his career. And then he doubled down in October and filed a grievance against the NFL owners for collusion. And for me, if there was a door or two that were open, they were closed once he filed that grievance. I know there were a couple teams that, and this is the way they do it, Coach will tell you, they have a board, and that board is they have potential free agents who are available. They have their names listed on them. I just saw the Vikings because they got a new digital one now. Rick Spielman, he was very, very excited. So typically they have the names written down. So they have all the, how they contact in case they get an injury. I can guarantee you, there is not one board in the NFL that has Colin Kaepernick's name on there as a potential free agent. And the reason is, and they don't have to admit it, it happened. It's because of his stance for the protest and the recent grievance that he filed against the NFL.
Yeah, and anybody that said that last year's decision on Colin Kaepernick was purely football, That's not true. That's not true, and it's not true by any objective standard. But it is his performance versus what else he brings into the mix. And you have to weigh those two things as an organization. Look at the Steelers when they were deciding to come out of the locker room versus stay in the locker room, and how that they feel that contributed to the loss. So, and Colin wasn't in that locker room, but you see how much that affected the play on the field. You bring a guy like that in the locker room, it's every single day. It's every single news outlet. It's every single person in the organization having to deal with that. And you're working so hard to concentrate on your next opponent. When you bring something like that in the mix, it's too hard.
Here's why, for what it's worth, here's why I just flatly reject that they are actually doing the math. What can he do on the field versus the, quote, distraction, unquote. Nobody will let him work out. Hold on. Nobody will let him work out. How do you know how much he can help you on the field unless you invite him to a workout? Unless you see what his level of play is? Unless you see a couple of years removed from a major shoulder surgery if some of that cat magic we saw in the playoffs against Green Bay is back? How do you know? And when we say teams are doing everything they can to avoid the distraction, man, I saw a pretty prominent owner invite a distraction in Jerry Jones. I'm going to take a knee with my whole team on national television, knowing that would put them in the maelstrom, in the heart of this maelstrom. Like, it is, I will go to my grave believing it was couched in football and then couched in distraction, when in reality it is about what he was protesting. It was about the powers that be and whether or not they thought what he was protesting was worth the protest. Because I guarantee you, if Colin Kaepernick were taking a knee because he felt our veterans were not treated properly, and they protect the flag better than anyone, so I won't stand for the anthem until we treat our veterans properly, he's on a football team. But instead, he won't stand for the anthem until black folks are treated properly, and he don't have a damn job. And that is for a league that I love, and for a sport that I have made my career covering, that is an embarrassment to me. And you said to the commissioner, CC, that the NFL is committed to the 1,600 best players. And it's in this one instance, it is not keeping its end of the commitment.
And just like when Colin doubled down with the grievance in October, the owners, and I'm surprised by this, the owners partnered with the Players Coalition. They donated $1 million to all the causes. Doug Baldwin, Malcolm Jenkins, these other guys are doing great things. The owners decided we are going to make financial contributions to the Players Coalitions in the things that they're involved in. Anquan Bolden. They're doing amazing stuff. I thought they would put this behind them, and they haven't. We will make a contribution to what you're involved in, but if you do not stand up for the national anthem, you cannot play in this league, and that's the stance that they made with Colin Kaepernick.
Look, there is a football component to this. There is, and you're guessing what Colin's going to be as a football player. Okay, you're projecting what he's going to be. And I'll say it again. I like Colin. I believe in Colin. I thought he should have played last year. Now, I do think if Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers or somebody who was a consistent elite quarterback took the same stance, they would have a job, because their ability to go to an organization and put you in a position to win Super Bowls year in, year out would outweigh the distractions. But when you're talking about a guy who has had inconsistencies and you don't know what it is, then you're weighing the two things, and that's how you get to where you get.
All right, we're going to leave it at that. We'll take a break. We're back right after this. Stay with us.